Arnfield Brook runs across the Peak District boundary into Arnfield Reservoir on the outskirts of Tintwistle. You're not going to find it in any scrambling guide, but it does appear in the odd hiking guide as a 7 waterfalls trail. As we know, where there are waterfalls, there is a good chance of scrambling. Park up in Tintwistle, or you can get the train to Hadfield for a longer approach, and you walk up either Crossgate Lane or Arnfield Lane, depending on your starting point. If you're going up Crossgate Lane, as I did, then you keep going round past the reservoir. Technically, you could start here where Arnfield Brook flows into its namesake reservoir, but there are signs warning you to keep out. There is a water gate up there blocking your way, and in scrambling terms, it's all pretty tame. It's a nice set of cascades on the first section of the brook, but unfortunately it runs through private land, so not accessible. A weir runs under the road beneath Arnfield Farm. Looks quite fun, but again you're left in no uncertain terms that this is private land. Instead of getting your feet wet then, you will follow the footpath that starts from this gate on Arnfield Lane and that runs up the side of the valley. Up to and beyond the small copse that crosses the footpath, the brook is still fenced in, including some water gates, but the profile is gentle, so it's not excluding you from anything of interest. As a location, Arnfield Valley is quite pretty. It's steep-sided, it's wooded, but the plains overhead and also the pylons crossing the first part of the valley mean that, at least initially, there's no real sense of getting away from it all. If you've been following the main footpath, then this is the point at which you fork to the left down a smaller path that's going to take you all the way to Arnfield Brook. Alternative is just after the copse. You could have scrambled down to the fence line and followed that fence line all the way along, if you're the kind of person who likes to convince themselves that they're really not missing anything on private land. Follow the left fork or the fence line if you've been following it, and you'll come to this weir where the fence ends, and this therefore represents the first legitimate entry point for the brook, and it lies within sight of the first and what I believe to be the largest of the waterfalls. The first waterfall is around 15 feet high, quite full because it rained a lot yesterday, and unfortunately it is overhung right the way along the top, meaning it is not possible to scramble at grade 1. The best you could probably do is get in from the pool, go up here along this ledge, and you could try going up there, but would smash all of those lovely icicles, which also explains why I'm not going to be getting under the water today. Alternatively, you could work your way then up here and along the zigzag paths that go over the top of the waterfall. Here is waterfall number 2. Looks only about 7 or 8 feet high with decent steps from a deep pool, though is a typical Peak District hazard of 2 sheep that I don't want to spook. The pool for that second waterfall was very shallow and it was easy to get up, no more than grade 0.5. Let's see if this presumably third fall is any different. Number 3's pool was thigh deep at most and very easy to scramble up from. Here we come to fall number 4, maybe around 10 feet deep, but plenty of steps. As predictable, waterfall number 4 was easy enough to get up, nice steps. Give it a grade 1 because it's a reasonable height, The pool beneath it was no more than 5 deep at most. Waterfall number 5 here may be a bit more of a challenge. It's not so big, but there's some overhang at the beginning and a lot of water tumbling down it today. Waterfall number 5 was probably one of the best. I went up the main route, water smashing down onto my head, but just about managed to find my way up. I'm losing track a bit of what counts as a waterfall. Maybe this is waterfall number 6. A run of gentle cascades and a few quite deep pools lead up to the next waterfall, and I think this actually is waterfall number 6. Looks to be quite stepped and again fairly straightforward. Waterfall number 6 was a pretty standard grade 1 scramble, a little bit of challenge in it to make some level of interest, and finally here's waterfall number 7, another typical one from a fairly deep pool but not too difficult to get up. Having scrambled up the 7th waterfall, you can, if you want, just retrace your steps and go back along the south side of the valley. Alternatively, you can head north and you might be able to find a rough track that leads you up to a couple of vandalised shooting cabins, and then you can follow the grouse butts track back past Arnfield Farm. I'm not going to do that myself. I'm going to carry on up the clough, even though at the moment it's just very gentle, and going to go all the way up to Robinson's Moss, though without any real expectation that there's good scrambling ahead. This small run of cascades is typical of what you'll find above the last of the waterfalls on Arnfield Brook. With the shooting cabins there in the background, the brook crosses this fence line, and beyond this point it straightens a little and the contour lines close up to a certain degree, but still nothing obvious that is worth coming up all this way. In this final part before the clough flattens off, there's a pool and a small natural weir, and then a bouldery section that's a bit like a mini charnel clough and worth a scramble, but not worth coming all this way for. I'm going to retract the mini bit of my last statement. Coming up the final part of the brook was not dissimilar to scrambling charnel clough, and enjoyable for all that, helped by the fact that throughout the entirety of Arnfield Brook, including here, the surface is pretty grippy, with the exception that because temperatures are below zero today, there's ice on quite a lot of the rocks just outside the brook. I thought I was going to be pretty snarky about Arnfield Brook, about how it was inaccessible in the first part, mediocre in the middle, and not worth coming to the upper sections. But it hasn't turned out like that. Of course, it is true that the first part is indeed inaccessible, but that middle section is a really enjoyable mix of grade 0.5 and grade 1 waterfalls that are nicely close together. And the final section is really quite substantial, probably a coin toss about whether it's really worth coming up to, but I'd certainly consider it. And I'm going to give it overall a 7 out of 10 because I think I would definitely recommend coming back to those central 7 waterfalls for a really good scramble. Finally, here's the All Trails route map showing blue for the approach from Tintwistle, red for the 2 sections of Scramble, and blue again for the walk between and for the return. Further details are given in the text description underneath the video.